what is going on to the Shiba Inu army and to the Shiba Inu family? If you guys have at least 3 million Shiba Inu tokens or coins, then this is a video for you. And let me just tell you, get ready for what is to come, because in just a few moments, we will be talking about both the technicalities and the fundamentals surrounding this coin. So if you haven't already, make sure to share this video with your fellow Shiba Inu holders, because there are news like this coming left and right, telling each other, sell Shiba Inu coin right now. Now, again, this is very much different than just a few weeks ago when people were telling each other, buy Shiba Inu coin like crazy. And now people are consistently telling you to sell. This makes no sense whatsoever, but this is just the reality of the situation right now. So we're going to be debunking a lot of articles, and do not worry. Right off the bat, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a holder of Shiba Inu coin. I do not plan on selling this coin. And in fact, I actually, in a few moments, will be telling you guys where I'm going to be buying even more Shiba Inu coins, just because I believe there's a lot of opportunity, if not this week, if not next week, if not next month, if not even next year. I do want Shiba Inu to be a part of my portfolio. So again, real quick, the author believes that it is time to sell Shiba Inu coin right now, and he actually gives 7 reasons why. I'm not going to read all this just because I wouldn't be worth your time, so we're going to go over here and go straight to the points. So Shiba Inu is headed for the doghouse, yet in spite of its laundry list of catalysts that have thus far sent Shiba Inu to the moon, there's an equally long list of valid reasons investors should take their money and not look back. Here are 7 reasons to sell Shiba Inu coin right now. And remember, this is not my opinion, these are simply the opinions of the author of this article. So community is not a measure of success. So to begin with, people are putting too much faith in the idea of community building. What is generally viewed as positive to grow the number of Shiba Inu holders, community takes a backseat to actual utility. What I'm seeing is a community-based focus hyping SHIB's token price and paying little, if any, attention to what the long-term use case might exist. In other words, community as a catalyst equates to nothing more than self-interest based hype. And then we do see over here that utility does get repeated, so this author is really focused on more long-term rather than some short-term effects for any coin price, especially as it relates to Shiba Inu coin, because in point 2 he also states there's virtually no real-world utility. That leads to the next valid reason to sell Shiba Inu coin. There's virtually no real-world use case. According to an online business directory, only 137 merchants worldwide currently accept Shiba tokens as a form of payment. Even with Shiba Inu landing its first major merchant this month, which again is absolutely phenomenal, the use case represents a minute fraction of more than 500 million entrepreneurs worldwide. Outside of a cryptocurrency exchange, there's simply no use for Shiba Inu coin. And then we have point number 3, and this is actually very interesting because this says that it features a particularly short holding period. Now, another chief concern that should send holders running for the exit is the median hold time for Shiba Inu tokens. Based on data from leading cryptocurrency exchange and ecosystem Coinbase Global, the typical median hold time for SHIB is a laughably low 20 days. Now, although this figure has been rising since the launch of Shiba Swap, it still implies that a lot of investors are nothing more than momentum chasers, if not day traders. Sentiment can shift on a dime in the cryptocurrency space, and it is evident that most Shiba Inu holders aren't planning to be here for the long haul. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because in point number 6, I believe, Robinhood Catalyst isn't exactly planning out. Many are saying the reason why Robinhood should actually allow Shiba Inu coin is because it will allow more opportunity for the Robinhood platform. And yes, you heard that right, because with Coinbase, which is right over here, Coinbase Global, they had a lot more users using their platform as soon as they accepted Shiba Inu coins. And if Robinhood did that, not only would more people be using the Robinhood platform, but on top of that, the Shiba Inu coin price, many are expecting it to increase. So even in point number 6, when it says that the Robinhood catalyst isn't exactly planning out, there are actually ongoing debates still to this day talking about whether Robinhood should still accept it or not. So I wouldn't say that Robinhood is not allowing Shiba Inu coin, but rather the debate is still ongoing. Now, if we go to point number 4, it lacks any desirable differentiation. So basically, in essence, we're not going to read all of this because over here, this author is saying that there's nothing that makes Shiba Inu coin different from other blockchain coins. And then point number 5, he says that there are no tie-ins with Elon Musk. And we're also not going to read this paragraph because I believe that the heading does do a good job at explaining what he says over here. And then in point number 6, we are to explain this. And then finally, in point number 7, history is not Shiba Inu friend. So I want to actually read this because last but not least, history is pretty clear that a massive correction awaits Shiba Inu. When I examined other payment coins that had delivered 5 and 6 digit percentage gains over a relatively short time frame, I found that they all eventually lost between 93% and 99% of their value within 26 months or less of hitting their peak. Though Shiba Inu has shed almost half its value since hitting highs in October 27th, history would suggest there's a lot of downside yet to come. Now, this is also very interesting because in just a few moments, we will be talking about the technicality for Shiba Inu, and let me just tell you, it is not as bad as it seems. That is why if you have at least 3 million Shiba Inu tokens or Shiba Inu coins, then stay tuned. Now, currently, I'm on the 1-year, 1-day chart for Shiba Inu coin. We will also be examining the 1-hour chart and the 4-hour chart, but just right off the bat, we can start it very simply by going on the resistance levels. So resistance number 1, we are actually below the resistance level as we speak right now. And the reason why this is extremely important is because as soon as we go above that level, then that would mean that Shiba Inu does have a higher likelihood of going even higher. And so that is why if you have at least 3 million Shiba Inu tokens, or even if you have lower than that, it really does not matter because a breakout is still a breakout. And I'm actually going to draw it right over here, this box over here, because as soon as Shiba Inu decides to break out, then that will help all the Shiba Inu holders, right? It doesn't really matter if you have 3 million, 1 million, or even less than that, or even more than that, right? And I also think there's a little bit of a problem that Shiba Inu has right now, but this may not be a problem after all. In fact, it may actually help us like it helped us right over here to the left of this chart and similar over here. Now, if we go to the right of this chart, we can actually see that right now it is very difficult to draw a downward slope for Shiba Inu coin. Now, downward slope, it is difficult to get a breakout of confirmation. That's what I should have said. So the reason why it's difficult to get a breakout confirmation is because there's simply not enough data points on this chart. And again, we're on the 1 year, 1 day chart to indicate Shiba Inu has a strong form of confirmation to break out. We simply don't have that yet because even if Shiba Inu did break out right over here, that wouldn't really indicate anything because Shiba Inu has just been downward spiraling so much. Now, this is also the same type of sentiment that we had to the left of its chart right over here. If we take it all the way to the top of the tick mark, which would be right over here, we can also see that it took a long time for Shiba Inu until it had a full-on confirmation, but this isn't even in confirmation. Remember how I said it's difficult to determine that confirmation right over here? The same type of difficult confirmation is also to the left of its chart, which is why Shiba Inu also had a breakout right over here, right? We had a breakout, but again, this confirmation didn't really happen. It was actually sideways and stagnant. That is what we all need to be noticing right now because even if Shiba Inu, let's say if it does decide to break out of its downward slope line, do not worry because didn't Shiba Inu also break out of this downward sloping line right over here? And then guess what happened? Instead of breaking out completely and deciding to go up in coin price, instead what it decided to do was go stagnant and not really move for quite a bit, right? And I'm going to be honest, this was for about 4 months, but do not worry because the difference between 4 months ago and right now is that we have more of a community. So it's pretty ironic because in the last article that we were reading, the author was basically saying that community in the long term will not really help the coin price. But this time, because we have more community, I think that as soon as we break through this resistance level, and even if it does take a little bit of time for stagnation and basically going from here, here, and not really doing anything, at one point, because the community that we have with the Shiba Inu family, I do believe that Shiba Inu will be in a great position to have that next leg up and decide to go up from here. I'm actually going to end this video here because we could talk all day about the technicalities surrounding Shiba Inu coin. So in the comment section below, let me know if you have any further questions. And with that being said, Shiba Inu family, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
All right, Chamath, we don't have that much time left. Let's talk rocket ships. First, Bitcoin. That falls into that category because that's what that is. 39,000. Where's it going?
I mean, can you play the clip in 2012 and 13 when it was at 200 and everybody was laughing at me on CNBC every time I would talk about Bitcoin? Where is it going? It's probably going to 100, then 150, then 200,000. In what period? I don't know. 5 years, 10 years, but it's going there. And the reason is because every time you see all of this stuff happening, it just reminds you that, wow, our leaders are not as trustworthy and reliable as they used to be. And so just in case, we really do need to have some kind of, insurance we can keep under our pillow that gives us some access to an uncorrelated hedge. And it's going to eventually transition to something much more important. But for right now, you're just getting all these data points that prove this thing. It's just the fabric of society is frayed. And until we figure out how to make it better, it's time to just have a little schmuck insurance on the side. And everybody's running in. It's just an incredible thing. I could never have imagined it.
Good to be a schmuck, I guess, if you got in early and it goes to where you think it's going to go.
You, at one point, I think back in April, told Dow Jones that it could go to about $500,000. Do you still hold that target? Do you still think that's where we're headed?
We do. I do. Yassine El-Mandra is our crypto analyst, and we go through soul-searching times like this and scrape the models. And yes, our conviction is as high. The one thing that has changed here, however, is the environmental concerns around Bitcoin in particular have caused people like Elon Musk to pull away and say, whoa, 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 let me make sure I understand this. And we believe that even this is going to change because, first of all, right now, the percentage of Bitcoin mined with renewables and hydroelectric power is quite substantial. I think in China, it's over 50% in renewables. And we also believe, and we wrote a paper in conjunction with Square on this, and we're going to have a conference about it in July. We believe that Bitcoin mining integrated into the distributed grid, and by that I mean solar roofs, power walls in homes, utilities, merchant power producers, starting to include Bitcoin mining in the ecosystem. Why would they do that? They would do it because renewables are intermittent power sources, right? Weather, is it sunny or not? Wind, is it windy or not?